Hi, my name is François Racine, CEO of AluQuébec. AluQuébec is a nonprofit group promoting the growth of the aluminum value chain in Quebec, in Canada. The presentation will give you an overview of what we do within Quebec, within the aluminum industry. As I said, AluQuébec's mandate is to support the economic development of the whole value chain from the production of primary aluminum to the transformation and promotion of aluminum in various markets where aluminum is a key material. So we basically interact with all the players of the value chain. And as I said before, we're a nonprofit group with private and public funding. And our main activities with our center of expertise is also to offer technical support, trainings, work on various standards where we can promote a better use of aluminum in various end markets. We will support some development project, even be involved in the engineering phase of some of those projects. And also, obviously, we will help to connect various key players to strengthen their relationships. Why Quebec and aluminum? Basically, about 75% of the primary aluminum production in North America is done within the province of Quebec in Canada. We produce approximately 2.8 million tons of primary aluminum production. And in fact, we're getting close to about 3 million tons a year of primary aluminum production. With the lowest carbon footprint in the world, basically all the electricity produced in Quebec is made from renewable. Therefore, all the aluminum produced in Quebec is made from renewable energy, mostly hydro, but also wind power. There's about 7,500 employees within the primary aluminum production in Quebec. We're also very much involved, obviously, in the processing and usage of aluminum, transformation of aluminum. There are more than 1,700 companies within Quebec working with aluminum at various degrees. Close to 30,000 direct jobs related to the transformation of aluminum with an impact of close or more than 1 billion Canadian dollars, which would be about $8 billion US. We also have a network of equipment suppliers that work very closely with the primary aluminum producers, developing equipment and technologies to support the production of primary aluminum, but also in the use of various cast houses related to rolling mills, for example, or extrusion facilities. Those equipment providers are exporting all across the globe and sharing their technologies with various primary aluminum producers all over the world. So basically, AluQuébec act as basically a networking agent to connect all those key players within our network to work together and obviously to develop new markets within Quebec and obviously outside Quebec. This map shows you an idea of where the various companies are located. You see in red where the primary aluminum production is done and also where the other players within transformation or equipment suppliers are located. And the map on the right gives you an idea of where is Quebec within Canada. And as I said before, this is where 75% of the North American primary aluminum production is done. What's interesting to know is that Quebec, because of the free trade agreement that Canada has with the US and Mexico, Quebec is well positioned, obviously, to support the development of the North American market with our aluminum expertise and our access to the US market. Canada has also a free trade agreement with Europe, but obviously our commercial relationships with the US are obviously more important. As I said, in terms of primary aluminum production, we have three world-class companies located here. Alouette, which is a joint venture between five partners, which include Rio Tinto and Hydro Aluminum. Obviously, Rio Tinto is here and has been in Canada for many years, and Alcoa is also present with the operation of three smelters. One thing that is interesting to note is that the first production of aluminum, primary aluminum production, started in 1901. So more than 120 years, we have been making primary aluminum in Quebec. As said before, we also have a strong network of equipment developers and technology developers that are servicing the primary aluminum production. You see some of the names on the right side of the slide, but basically they are involved with the primary aluminum producers and other aluminum transformation facilities where molten aluminum is present. And the companies are developing equipment to basically filter, improve the qualities of the material, and equipment to move around within the facilities, autonomous vehicles, and basically all the type of equipment that the primary aluminum producers would be looking for to support their operations. And as I said before, those companies are exporting and are present in the Middle East, present in Asia and in Europe, and are continuously developing their external markets. We also have a very strong processing sector in various end markets, and this slide gives you an idea of some of the markets that are supported by the companies within Quebec. Verbon is a key supplier for Tesla, for example. They support body parts made from warm forming. We also are very much involved in the promotion of the usage of aluminum in various type of infrastructures, including pedestrian bridges. And AluQuébec support a lot of projects to push further ahead the use of aluminum in this market. We also have companies involved in the use of aluminum in transmission towers, for example, emergency restoration systems, and we're involved in R&D projects to increase the use of aluminum in energy transportation in terms of infrastructures. Other example, we have companies involved in the cladding and basically the external panels for buildings made with aluminum. Heavy machineries or used for transportation. So commercial transportation is also a significant market for us, as is public transportation equipment using aluminum for the structures of those vehicles. We also have a very strong aerospace sector. Montreal is one of the basically three largest aerospace cluster in the world. So obviously a lot of aluminum is transformed and used in our local aerospace sector. And you have here a few names representing some of the key players. Bombardier, who's a private aircraft manufacturer, Sonaca making aircraft wings for various type of aircraft, and Meloche making all sorts of components for the aerospace industry. But obviously, this network is a lot more important than what you can see on the slide. We're also very much involved in R&D, and a lot of the R&D is done obviously locally, but quite often also jointly with other R&D centers located outside Quebec or outside Canada. We're very much open for collaboration. Of the main important center, obviously you have the National Research Council of Canada, who's very much involved in various steps of aluminum transformation and supporting development of new applications in various end markets, but mostly automotive. We also have the Quebec Metallurgical Center, which is also very much involved in the development of new processes and also in the support of the design of parts made from various aluminum transformation processes. We also have what is called the Regal, which is basically a network of all the universities located in Quebec that are involved in aluminum R&D, whether it's related to the production of primary aluminum or transformation of aluminum and market or ancillary processes that are related to the usage or transformation of aluminum. This is a strong network which basically supports supports the networking within the universities to work in collaboration with each other instead of working in isolated silos. And over the years, it's been in action for close to 20 years, has created a lot of papers that have been published on a global basis and are really showing the quality and the level of knowledge related to the aluminum industry that we have locally. As you can see, in terms of R&D teams, I mean, it covers everything. More and more, we get involved in digital transformation, which is becoming more and more important in terms of automation to make the workplace more secure, but also more productive. Work related to the improvement of the environmental impact of our industry. Obviously, recycling is part of that, but it's a lot more than this. And other manufacturing processes to help basically make aluminum more competitive with other materials. As you can see here, an example of some of the facilities or type of products that are being developed where aluminum is used. And again, we have a very strong network of R&D centers that are open to obviously collaborate with other centers across the world. And we believe we have really world-class facilities and world-class knowledge that will help us make a strong improvement in terms of the promotion of aluminum in new applications. On top of that, two of the largest private producers in the globe, also have R&D facilities within Quebec, and we're very, very proud to be the host of those facilities. Rio Tinto have their World R&D Center for Aluminum located here in Quebec, and the World Excellence Center for Smelting Technologies of Alcoa is also located here in Quebec at their Deschambault smelter. Within AluQuébec, to support the use of aluminum in various end markets, we have created working groups. One is involved in the use of aluminum in construction, more specifically sustainable construction, where the qualities and durability of aluminum are moved forward. Infrastructure and bridges, which is a little bit less common across the globe, and we think we're at the forefront of the development of new technologies and development of products in that field, working very hard with the public officials or public entities that are most of the time the purchaser of infrastructures, and obviously we're making or showing the advantage of aluminum in terms of durability, in terms of total cost of ownership, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And again, we have another group dedicated to transportation equipment, a group to create a stronger network within the equipment and specialized suppliers, and also support them in their international market development. We have another working group focusing on recycling to improve the recycling rates and also improve the quality of the recycling being done and make sure we get the best value out of the secondary aluminum that is produced locally or that could be processed here locally. The last working group is a group which is focusing on looking at the mid to long term impact of our industry, and it is really focusing on how we can make sure that our industry will be a world-class supplier, will maintain a leadership position, and will continuously improve itself to make it more sustainable in terms of responsible production, in terms of environmental impact, and obviously in terms of new applications. Within our website, we have a lot of directories. A lot of them are in French, as French is the main language in Quebec, but some of them are also in English. But most of them, anyways, have a lot of pictures, and a picture says says 1,000 words. But basically, we have directories for the various distributors of product in Quebec, and also those dedicated to the building and construction sector. Another directory which showcases what we've done in terms of construction locally. Another dedicated to infrastructures, so pedestrian bridges and bridges done with aluminum. Directories of our equipment and specialized suppliers. So obviously, you're more than welcome to go and browse and see what we've been doing with aluminum here in Quebec. Key factor for us in terms of sustainability of our industry, obviously, is to support the continuous improvement of the industry in its ESG standards and ESG behavior. So in pretty much everything that we do, I mean, we always have the ESG factor in the back of our mind, making sure that we improve the environmental impact of our industry. And obviously, in terms of social policies and governance, I mean, we have the best practices in place, and always supporting our companies to improve themselves in that regard and be world-class leaders in terms of ESG practices. To support and promote the use of aluminum, and as we said, with the environmental factor more and more critical in the decision process of the purchaser, we've done some work to compare the impact of aluminum with other materials like steel, for example, in terms of life cycle analysis, but also total cost of ownership. To show that aluminum is really a durable, sustainable product. And often the use of aluminum in infrastructure, for example, is the best decision. Quite often, the initial purchasing cost of aluminum will be a little bit higher than steel when we look at an infrastructure. But if we look at the total cost of ownership, when you factor in maintenance, repair, and replacement in some cases. If you look, for example, at a 75-year span for infrastructure, in all the various types of infrastructure that we've looked at, aluminum was always cheaper, and this is the sales pitch that we're basically using to support the use of aluminum in public infrastructures. Same thing in terms of life cycle analysis, as more and more project promoters are concerned with the environmental impact of the project they're doing. We've done life cycle analysis comparison. In that case, obviously, I mean, the assumptions that you're making are very critical. So it's not always, the results are not always as shown here, but in our assumptions, obviously, a big portion of the aluminum used is one produced here with renewable energy, which is the case really within Quebec. There's also some secondary aluminum which is used, and when whatever is needed is not available locally, we make the assumption that the product is coming from North America with a North American carbon footprint or environmental footprint. Regardless, in most cases, the environmental impact of aluminum versus steel, which is also sourced locally, is more or less the same, and most of the time a little bit better for aluminum. So all this to say that, for example, in the case of aluminum infrastructures done here in the Northeast in Quebec, we have a very competitive environmental impact, but a much lower total cost of ownership, which makes the decision of using aluminum obviously critical and quite often the best decision. Obviously, to support the use of aluminum in various applications, we need to make sure that when standards need to be applied, obviously, we need to make sure that aluminum is considered and is included in those standards. And representative of AluQuébec and other representative of the aluminum industry are quite active in various working groups, for example, for the Canadian Standards Association, which is often the standards that are dictating how and when a material can be used. So obviously, we're very much present in those working groups. Finally, we're also quite involved in developing technical papers and trainings to support the knowledge of the usage of aluminum for engineers, for architects, industrial designers. So we have designed internally and with external experts quite a wide range of tools for training and to support the usage of aluminum and the training of future students or future architects and engineers to make sure that they are comfortable using aluminum. We have a bunch of manuals and training material which is available from our website to support, again, a better knowledge of aluminum for future and current professionals working with aluminum. We're also promoting the use of aluminum for university students, and each year we have a competition which basically regroup mixed teams that are made of future architects, engineers, and industrial designers, and every year they work on a specific project, and they're competing within each other to come up after 4 days with the best, basically the best design. And it's a growing contest, gaining in popularity. We have more and more companies wanting to be associated with the project, and obviously more and more students each year are involved in this challenge, and it's a nice way to promote aluminum within the various engineering and architectural schools located here in Quebec. Next challenge, next September. It's always the second week of the beginning of the classes in the fall for us. And obviously, we're looking forward to meet new students who will be competing. And already many months from the challenge itself, I mean, pretty much all the available places have been taken by students who are eager to get involved. So it's obviously quite positive for us to see that kind of enthusiasm for this challenge. And finally, 2023 is a super year for us in terms of international exposure. 2 international conferences will be taking place here in Quebec. One next May, mid-May, Future Aluminum Forum, which will mostly focus on sustainability, but also what we would call aluminum 4.0. So everything that will automate the industry and make sure that we use artificial intelligence and all the technologies to really rely on the new high-tech possibilities to make our industry more productive and more secure. And finally, next October, INALCO will also be in Quebec City, mid-October. And this conference will focus on various end markets and application and transformation technologies for aluminum, mostly related to transportation and infrastructures, but basically a nice showcase of various processing improvement that have been done over the years. So obviously everybody is welcome to come and attend those conferences. So again, I thank you very much and looking forward to answer your questions if you have any. Hopefully, we will see you in Quebec sometimes. Thank you very much.